Hi guys, I'm Scott Jackson and I am a cross-cultural missionary sent by King's Church to the country of Macedonia. I just wanted to start off this message by reading a short piece from Matthew chapter 14, which you may or may not be familiar with. I'm hoping you will be. So this is about Jesus walking on the water, but that is not the part I want to focus on today. So in Matthew chapter 14 verses 22 it says, "Immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone, but the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because of the wind which was against it. During the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. 'It's a ghost,' they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, 'Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid.' 'Lord, if it's you,' Peter replied, 'tell me to come to you on the water.' 'Come,' he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. Well, when they saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, 'Lord, save me.' Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. 'You of little faith,' he said, 'why did you doubt?' And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, 'Truly you are the Son of God.' When they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret." And the part that I wanted to focus on in particular in this story, as I was praying about what to share with you, was just in terms of the seasons of life we find ourselves in. Now, I moved over to Macedonia at the start of March, which was a new season for me. And for you guys watching as well, you may find that you're in a new season as well. Or maybe you've come to the end of one season and you're just transitioning and just preparing to go into a new season in some way, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in terms of how family life looks and the structure of family life, or in some other way. And maybe you've come into a storm. Now, this whole crisis that we are facing at the moment in terms of lockdowns and the pandemic and restrictions that are in place certainly feels like a storm, and it's caused a bit of an enforced rest as well. But for the disciples here, as they were journeying across the lake, something that I find that is important to remember is actually the first verse that I just read out to you. Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. The first question that I've got to ask, both for myself and asking to you guys as well, is if Jesus has told you to stop and Jesus has told you that you're entering a new season, do you believe you will get to the other side? Jesus said here to the disciples, "Go to the other side." In other words, you will get to the other side. You just need to be obedient to me. They came into the midst of the storm. They're buffeted by the wind and the waves, as it said there. And we can all find ourselves in those times, don't we, where we feel like we're in the midst where everything's going wrong, where there's things that are coming against us or things that are hindering us, or those moments where we start to question and doubt, God, did you really say this? Or God, are you going to come through for me? Do you remember those moments where God said, I have something new for you to do. I have a new season for you. I have a new part of your journey to take. Are you holding on to what Jesus said to you previously? Or are you focusing on the fact that you're in the storm? Do you think you're going to get to the other side? Or are you thinking you're going to sink? That's something that for me personally, as this new season's progressing, I found a bit challenging myself in terms of everything being new for me, most things changing, and the same for most of us here watching as well. But something linked to that I was reminded of is in James chapter 1, the letter of James, where he says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." So even though we're in the midst of trials or difficult situations and circumstances, and it's very hard to get weighed down and bogged down with it, James is saying here, consider it pure joy, because what it's actually doing is it's maturing you. What it's actually doing is it's developing you to be more Christ-like, to face these situations with a deeper faith in Christ, to see him come through. Now, Jesus met the disciples on the waves. He showed in front of them all that he was sovereign over the storm. He wasn't restricted by the sea. or the waves or the storm. He was just there, walking on the waves. Do you know God is sovereign in the situations you're in at the moment? Do you know God is with you in the situations that you're in at the moment? He has not abandoned you. It's very easy to feel that we're alone, that God has left us, but our feelings do not always reflect the truth. The truth is that Jesus said, I will never leave you and never forsake you. So hold on to Jesus, hold on to the promises that he has given you, because if he's told you to move, if he's told you to journey and transition, if he's told you there's something new, he will take you through anything that you will face. God bless you guys, and I'll see you soon.